Everybody's favorite question when Diamond Dynasty comes out each and every year. Popular stranger, how do you make stubs? Well, today we're going to talk about card flipping, give you some different examples and some different strategies on how you guys can make stubs in MLB 17, the show Diamond Dynasty. Let's go. What's going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger. We are back at you again today with another MLB 17, the show Diamond Dynasty tips video. We're going to dive into the hot topic early on in the year, how to make stubs, card flipping 101. We're going to go over some different strategies that I use. And if you guys got any other things to add in, feel free to leave it in the comments section. Let's help each other out. Let's start to build this stub count up so we can buy the expensive players, the nice overall players. So let's get right on into the content. We're going to start over in the community market and just go through it. And we're going to look for price differences is really what I like to go over. So the main way to make cards in the show, and it's been this way for a while in Diamond Dynasty, is flipping cards. Now, 2 years ago in MLB 15, the tax on the auction house or the marketplace was only 5%, so it was easy to make big profits. I'm talking a couple $100K a day. Unfortunately, it's now 10% tax that started last year and it's carried on over to this year. So it makes it a bit more difficult, especially when you look at a lot of cards that in this game are very cheap. So we all have the top tier cards, the Trouts, the Kershaws, the Machados, the Sales, and whatnot, but there also are a lot of very cheap cards even early on in the game, and we're going to go through them. And honestly, we're just going to kind of start here. Anywhere you can start, but you just want to look for a price gap. You want to look for a difference between the buy now and the sell now. Maybe, you know, in the gold cards about a 2,000 range. When we get to silvers and bronzes, maybe a couple hundred. And I'm just doing this on the fly. I'm just going to give you guys an example of what I look for. So here is a pretty good one. Roberto Ozuna selling right now for about 62,050 coins, and then the sell now is 4800. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my X button, go to buy sell now options. Now, if you don't want to calculate the tax on the fly, this is something that you can always do just to figure out. You can figure, all right, if I were to sell this card at 6,200 coins, how much money would I get, or how many stubs would I get? So I put that in there, and it says seller will receive 5580. So now we know that if we can sell this card for as cheap as it is right now, so slightly cheaper than what the current person is selling for, we're going to make about 5,500 stubs. So if we have to buy one at about 4,850, we figure it's about a 600 stub profit. Now I know you're telling yourself 600 stubs is not a lot. This isn't Madden Ultimate Team. You have to grind out when you flip cards this year because of that 10% tax, and because cards are so cheap, and it's very it's a difficult, you know, market. It's a lot different than other you know, Ultimate Team game modes. So we're going to go ahead and put in a bid for this. We're going to go over to buy. We're going to do create new buy order, and we're just going to try to basically overcut the previous person, or the lowest person. We're going to put 4850 in their finalized order. So now, hopefully somebody would sell this card to us for 4850. If they were to do so, then we would get that, and we would go ahead and sell it for about 6,100 or 6,175, or you can do 6,199, and you're going to make a small profit. Now always keep in mind, yeah, you might only make 600 stubs. A pack in this year's game, in pretty much every game, a regular pack is 1,000 stubs. So you figure if you can flip 2 cards and make 1,000, you're basically flipping 2 cards for a pack. Or you obviously can hang on to it to buy, you know, buy cheaper cards or buy cards for your team, which I tend to do. I don't really open packs just because of the pack odds. So then we'll go down to maybe a cheaper card here. Carson Smith, another good example. We can go ahead and we're going to try to buy this card for about 690 coins. Again, don't be too X happy, don't be too button happy when you're doing this. You might make a mistake and buy something for a lot more than it needs to be. So we're going to put in an order for 690 stubs, and if we were to get that, we could probably sell it for about 940 stubs. Nice little price gap there of about 260 stubs, give or take. after tax, it's probably still going to make you about 200 stubs. So let's go ahead and see if we can find some examples of maybe, you know, cards that I just bought. I did see that I had some auctions finish up as we started this video, so I don't know if we'll have any. No, so all of these are cards that were that I just sold. So we'll have to wait for one of these to actually go through, and then we will check back in the video once we find, you know, another option, and I'll go ahead and go with that. Alright, so a bunch of the cards that I just went out and purchased and put orders up for just completed, and you can always go to your completed orders through the marketplace by hitting X and going down to completed orders. You see we got Rick Porcello, AJ Ramos, Roberto Ozuna, Carson Smith, Gregory Polanco, and Alex Gordon. All of those cards people just sold to us for these stub amounts. So now we're going to go back to the marketplace and we're going to try to sell these for a little bit above what we purchased them for and below what the highest offer is right now. So you can always sell these cards directly through the marketplace. It's a bit tedious, but you would kind of have to like sort by team. So we can go to Rick Porcello here, we can go to Red Sox, and it's going to bring up the Red Sox teams. Then we would go down to him. Now remember, we just bought this card for 4,900 stubs, so we're going to try to sell him right now. The highest offer is, our cheapest offer is 6,236, so we're going to try to sell him for about, I would say 6,100. I think it's a fair price. If you really want to be an undercutter and just kind of sell it for like 10 stubs cheaper, by all means do that, but I try to make my sales look a little bit more attractive, if you will. So again, 6,100 stubs. I meant to show you guys that you know, what it would come out to be with that tax. So seller will receive 5,490 stubs. That's what I would receive if that card sells, roughly meaning that I'm going to have about a 500 stub profit off of this card. Again, wash, rinse, and repeat. I know it's not a huge gain. I know it's not a huge increase, a huge profit, but you have to take your time and they will all start to add up. So Carson Smith was another one. We'll go to buy sell options. We purchased Carson Smith for I think 690 stubs. We're going to go ahead and try to sell him now for, I'm just going to do 900 stubs. So we'll back out of here, put in 900, and if that were to sell, we're going to end up making 810. So again, slightly under 200 stub profit there. We'll go ahead and post up our order. Now, if you don't want to, and let's see if one of our cards sold. So I'm going to go to completed orders, and something else sold. We got a Ben Zobrist for 409, a Jerry Blevins for 690. So more cards are starting to sell right now to me. So there's another way that you can get to all of this as my battery dies here on my controller, but you can also go to home, go to collect, and if you go to my inventory over here, you can go to my player collection. So rather than sorting through each team or trying to remember, you know, which team you bought cards from, you can just kind of go through and, you know, so here we go. Roberto Ozuna, we're going to go to view market. Remember, we just bought this card for 4,925 stubs. The cheapest is now 5,000 for the sell offer, so that's actually above what we just paid for it. So we're just going to go ahead and go to sell options, and I'm going to try to sell this one for about 6,200 stubs, giving me a 5,580 stub return, which would roughly be a little, it's over 600 stubs there on this one. So we'll go ahead and finalize order. So that's another way you can do it. So one other thing, you know, I kind of showed you guys silver and gold cards are a really good option for doing these flips and finding that kind of, you know, 1,000, anywhere between a couple hundred to 1,000 difference in profit. One thing that I've noticed with the cheaper cards here, the less common cards, which ironically are called common cards, is that these are very rare, and not so much rare, but people just aren't selling them as much because a lot of people are going after the different collections and trying to complete those to get stub rewards and to get player card rewards and finish missions and whatnot. So if you go down all the way to the bottom, almost every team has, you know, a couple cards that actually sell for like 200 stubs, because there's, you know, there's a lot of them per se, but a lot of people are using them, collecting them, because they're trying to get these things done. And of course, I'm not going to be able to find one now. I mean, there were some in there for like 150 stubs, which is still good. But, you know, if you can find these ones that are going for like 200, sometimes even 300 stubs, you can go ahead and sell those. And you can also put in a buy now option for literally like 10, 15 stubs. And I've done that with a few really cheap cards. and it's worked to my benefit. Now, again, I'm not able to find one here live, so let me go ahead and do my research here, and then I'll come back once I find a couple. So some good examples of cards that are going to be very low tier and not a huge profit but still very flippable are going to come from the teams that don't have many gold cards or don't have any diamonds. So the Twins, the Braves, the Phillies, teams like that. So if we go all the way down to the bottom, I found a couple that are somewhat an example. And again, this is going to vary. The market changes rapidly in Diamond Dynasty, but we'll take a look at like JB Shuck here. And we'll go to he's right now, you could probably sell him for about 190 stubs. But if you look at his sell now option, there's one up for 3 stubs and that's it. So what I love to do in these is I'll create a buy order. I'll buy it for 15 stubs, and somebody will eventually sell it to me. These things usually work out, they usually happen, and I can turn around and probably sell him for about 190, 185. Not a huge profit again, but 100 stubs, you do this enough times, I'm telling you it's going to add up. So I noticed another one, Ryan O'Rourke, he has another card that's about 195 stubs and a sell now for about 200. So I could just go ahead and do buy, create buy order, and we'll just do like 22, just up them by a little bit. These things are very common cards, as I said, so a lot of people have them, and a lot of people will sell them to you very, very quickly because some people are just trying to dump their cards, and a lot of people are trying to finish up sets. So check out teams like the Athletics. Just scroll all the way to the bottom here. I just like the view market. Here's another one, 199 stubs. That's kind of the sweet spot. You're looking for cards, maybe, see, here's a good one, 250 stubs. Now, the buy options are up at 55. There's still a profit. But these are the things to look for. The market is going to fluctuate a ton, so just go out and search, man, search, and you guys can make profits. I'm up to probably like 50K in stubs. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but I got 5K for my pre-order, and I've pretty much made about 45K using this method in about 24 hours. So, you know, it may die down. It may only work for the first couple weeks of the season, and then we might have to look for new strategies. But as of right now, and I have some other ideas in my mind, so you guys will be seeing other videos soon, but as of right now, this is definitely the best way to make stubs in MLB 17, the show Diamond Dynasty. I do appreciate you guys for watching. I'm Popular Stranger, and I'm out. Peace!